Thunder! 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 ThunderCats!
Declan Shelby and Drew Moss have rebooted ThunderCats, with elements that exude old-school charm while ensuring that everything feels fresh. This makes the reboot comic series from February 2024 a hit for both diehards and newbies. Right off the bat, they can catch you up with a quick recap of how the ThunderCats end up on the Third Earth, setting the stage for what's next. Lion-O is once again leading the pack, but he's got the whole teen angst in an adult bodies thing going on. The early part of the issue is all about the ThunderCats settling into their new home. They're training, scrounging for grub, and checking out the local wildlife. Despite the severe backdrop, there's a light-hearted feel with some good-natured ribbing and physical comedy, especially when Lion-O's training sessions with Panthro takes unexpected and rather humorous turns. The comic is everything one needs in a first issue and leaves the readers with a reason to buy the next one. But don't worry, Marvelous Videos is right on top of it, and we'll be exploring the subsequent issues as and when they release. But before that, let's explore the first issue of this awesome comic. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Number 1. Coming to Third Earth. Given that the story has just begun, it is the first issue, it begins at the beginning of time, with Thundera, home to the ThunderCats, destroyed. As we see in all the previous iterations, an exodus of ThunderCats followed the destruction of Thundera. We know that the mutants of Plunder craved the Eye of Thunders, the greatest treasure of the Thunderians, and if the mutants could not have it, no one could. The Thunderians tried to escape the massacre, but only one vessel survived. They were all put into stasis for the long journey to a new home. Their leader, Jagger, piloted them to a new world called the Third Earth, but Jagger did not live to see the sun on Third Earth. In the very next panel, we meet the ThunderCats, Tigra, Panthro, Cheetara, Wily Cat, Wily Kit, and their leader, Lion-O. Lion-O narrates his ordeal and repents the fact that Jagger is no more to guide him. With Jagger gone, it is Lion-O's responsibility and duty to lead the Thunderians in this new world, but there is a slight hiccup, and he is supposed to be a cub. You see, during their journey, Lion-O's stasis pod malfunctioned. His body was not protected from the elements of space or the passage of time. So what happened was that although his body aged into a fine young feline, he was still a child on the inside. He wasn't supposed to be an adult. Needless to say, none of this was supposed to happen. Destiny had forced Lion-O's hand, and those he once looked up to on Thundera now looked up to him to lead. Yes, he had some amazing abilities and heavy responsibilities, but it was way more than a cub should handle. But handle he must, for the survival of the ThunderCats is all that matters now. In the next panel, we see the silhouette of Slythe, the self-appointed leader of the mutants. Anyway, we meet Lion-O once again, along with Panthro. In the training room, Lion-O is training with floating discs and training sticks, but he is not into all of that any longer. He finds such training equipment beneath him, but Panthro is not ready to let Lion-O have the Sword of Omens, and wants to tell Lion-O that Jagger would also concur, but Lion-O notes that Jagger isn't there any longer. But Panthro is quick to demonstrate that our man, or cat, Lion-O, isn't yet ready, and that there is still much to learn. Lion-O is not happy about the harsh methods Panthro uses in training, but Panthro reminds him that he is not Lion-O's mentor anymore. On Third Earth, he is the general. Number 2. Leadership is teamwork. Meanwhile, Cheetara and Tigra are trying to hunt a rabbit for dinner. Interestingly, we never really see a lot of this stuff, where the ThunderCats hunt innocent animals for food. I mean, we have seen some pretty dark stuff, like Mumm-Ra keeping Willy Kit as his concubine, and a milder version of a sex slave. Nevertheless, in the next panel, we see Wily Kit and Wily Cat on their own little hunt, but instead of focusing on their prey, the twins end up fighting each other, typical kittens. But the most serious of arguments are going to be between Panthro and Lion-O. The latter rightly says that if he has to master the Sword of Omens, he must first wield it. But let's play a little bit of devil's advocate here, and favour Panthro for saying that it has only been a few weeks since Lion-O started his training, and he must gain the necessary acumen and skill to wield a sword like the Sword of Omens. And to be honest, being strong is not the only parameter of being a leader, let alone a good one. Not paying heed to what Panthro has to say, Lion-O takes the Sword of Omens, claiming that it is his, and that he will do whatever he sees fit with it. The young would-be leader of the ThunderCats wonders why Panthro still treats him like a child. Well, Lion-O for one, you are a child. No matter what Lion-O does, he will always remain a boy for Panthro, and to be honest, his actions aren't quite mature up until now. But Lion-O only sees what benefits him, like Jagger entrusting him with the sword. Soon, he encounters a mutant ship and rightly surmises that the mutants have located the surviving ThunderCats. He unsheaths the legendary sword and becomes ready to face the mutants. Slythe orders a frontal and full-fledged attack on Lion-O. The ThunderCats sense that their comrade is in trouble and prepares to help him. Meanwhile, we get a glimpse of Mumm-Ra, only his red eyes and nothing else. On the other hand, Slythe is surprised to see Lion-O all grown up and strong. He only remembers the latter as a little cub whose little twig neck he once wanted to snap. The two of them engage in a duel, but Lion-O is not yet the warrior we know now. He is struggling with Slythe, and to make it worse, Slythe's mutant army follows. But fret not, even the ThunderCats follow in quick succession. The two sides fight, and when Slythe sees that he is on the losing end, he orders his troops to retreat, but not before destroying Lion-O's sword. Interestingly, the comic ends with Mumm-Ra sensing the Eye of Thundera and Jagger's spirit approaching him. Marvelous verdict. ThunderCats number 1 is a total blast from the past, but with a fresh twist. Shelby and the gang didn't just copy-paste the old cartoon. Instead, they gave us a quick catch-up on what's new with the ThunderCats, adding some grown-up elements that echo the cool yet underrated 2011 series. They skipped the kiddie version ThunderCats Raw, which, let's be honest, didn't exactly win hearts, and that's probably a smart move. The comic focuses a lot on Lion-O, the young leader who's still learning the ropes. Thankfully, Shelby's not shy about showing us Lion-O's raw edges. He's eager but green, and his know-it-all attitude might just set him back a few. It's a wake-up call for him that leadership's not a solo job. It's all about teamwork. Moss has given the ThunderCats a pretty awesome makeover by ditching the 80s hair but keeping it real enough so we recognise our favourites. He has spiced things up a bit, like putting moustache on Tigra, and when it comes to action, Moss has nailed it, especially during the ThunderCats Ho moment. Additionally, he's captured Lion-O's energy perfectly. Di Francia and Pignadoli then come in and turn up the colour game. They ditch the flat colours for something that jumps out at you, using gradients and shades to bring the ThunderCats into the modern age. Eckleberry keeps the text easy to flow, then lets loose with dynamic lettering in the battle scenes. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.